San Jose versus Hawaii. Marco, who do you like and why?
We're going old school, RJ. I'm going to be taking San Jose State in this game. And guys, buckle up because I'm going to have to convince Judge RJ to come to my side because we always disagree.
So why do you like Hawaii?
Well, no, I don't like Hawaii. I like San Jose State.
Why do you like San Jose State?
All right. They lost both meetings to Hawaii.
Okay, so they lost both meetings. Now, the pro of that is you're going to gain some line value. The public's going to see that. The con of it is there must be a meaning to the fact, or no, there mustn't be, but there likely is a meaning to the fact they're 0-2 against them. So is it that there was a deceiving win, or you think the public's overreacting, or what?
There's not a deceiving win. In both games, ironically, were 6-point games, so they weren't blowouts. But I've been a firm believer, and I know this is where me and you get into the discussion. You always say, well, if me and you played, I think, on Wii tennis, you'd beat me every time. It doesn't matter how many times we do it.
Or pool, or, I mean, there's a lot of things, but go ahead.
When teams lose twice, I'm a firm believer that when they go to the chalkboard to draw up their game plan, they're making changes. Mm-hmm. The team that won both meetings, you're not really making changes because everything worked. And I think the advantage lies in the team that lost both psychologically and just in preparation. Also, you're going to get this.
Now, do you think the advantage lies there, or perhaps the disadvantage is overreacted to? I mean, would you really, honestly now, assume the line was going to be the same in both cases? And this doesn't invalidate your point. I just want to put a finer point upon it. Assuming that you had two choices, San Jose State and Hawaii, the line is 1.5, or Hawaii's 1.5.
Right.
If they hadn't played this year somehow, it was an NCAA tournament game, wasn't a conference tournament. Wouldn't you like, if every other game had been the same from San Jose State and Hawaii except their matchups, wouldn't you feel better if they hadn't played than if they're 0-2?
I know what you're trying to say, but for me, again, with the handicapping, and I do so many things on emotion and psychology, to me, I look at it two ways. You're going to have San Jose State that has something to prove because they lost both. Psychologically, Hawaii could ease up a little bit thinking, hey, we already beat this team twice, that we got a little bit of a cakewalk.
Couldn't we make the case, though, that would be more applicable if the line was like 6 or 8 or 10, that right now with a pick-em game pretty much, it's going to be hard for Hawaii to say, I could see as an 8-point dog.
That's a great point, and I agree with that for, the dog where, the big favorite would be looking past them. But flipping because this is only at -1.5, it almost comes now into my trap territory because now you're looking at...
But is it because think about it, if there's a spectrum between there's value on a game because I think the line's off, all the way to the point this line seems crazy and thus I'm going to go the other way because there's no rhyme or reason for this line being so off, is you got to pass through a territory where the line's right? So let's just say, for example, the right line is pick 'em. Is if it came out Hawaii -4, then you're going to say, wow, there might be some real value on San Jose State. I get that. But if the line came out San Jose State -4, you might be thinking, geez, this line makes no sense. So I'm gonna think it's a trap game. But in the middle, at 1 pick and 1, the line's going to be right. So is this a value play or is it a trap play?
To me, it's a combination of both, but it's more of the trap, and I have a handicapping angle that I'm saving for the end that we're going to bring here. But the situation...
You might want to pull this gun out now.
Situationally, I'm looking at John Q. Public that just, when he handicaps these games, what he's going to do, it's a very simple handicap. He's going to go look at the first two meetings. He's going to look if they've played already.
All right, so the fact this game's pick 'em is telling me it's got to be a trap game by your handicap because you're saying this team's beat them twice. I mean, if other than those two matchups, how would you?
If you go to the first two lines, this line is basically where it would be based off of the first two games, but what the line was at Hawaii and what the line was at San Jose State.
Okay, so which means there's been no adjustment.
Exactly. That's why it puts it on a trap.
That's why it's not a value. Because really, you can't have a hybrid. You can't have both trap and value. Because trap is saying the line is too good to be true. Value is saying the line is giving you value playing a certain team.
It is. But you said the one key thing, and this is the only time that the discussions really heat up about is this a gift or is it a trap? Because is it value or not? And we had is when these games are around that magical line of less than 2 points. Because now you're theoretically looking at just pick the winner, that the line's not going to be a factor. So that's why it teeters back and forth. But I like San Jose State here. Here's the other angle. This game is being played here in Vegas at the Thomas and Mack Center. This game goes at 12 noon local time, which Hawaii, that's, they're 2 hours behind us. This is 10 o'clock in the morning on their body clocks for them. I just don't see Hawaii.
I love this point. I love this. So that's a great point. And you get these weird schedulings with these tournaments. I actually uncovered one right in a blog. I put it up in the forums. Is Virginia, the ACC tournament doesn't start till Thursday. They have 12 teams, I think, if I'm not mistaken. And they're having 12 successive practices starting at 11 a.m. Okay? So they're playing Clemson, if I'm not mistaken, but I'm not positive. No. They're playing Miami of Florida. Okay, so Miami of Florida practices at 11 a.m. They're the first practice. Virginia is the last practice. It starts at 8 p.m. The game goes at noon the next day.
Yeah, that's huge.
That feels like, okay, they're going to, now everyone in the forum, someone says, well, they're not going to practice hard. But no, you're going to bus over to the facility. You're going to do your walkthrough. You're going to bus back. Now it's 9:30, 9:45. You're going to be worked up. You're going to have trouble getting to sleep. And for a noon start, they've got to be at 8:30 in the morning. They got to be, or 9 at the latest at the arena. You would think they're not going to be able to even get a full night's sleep. Even assume if they could get right to sleep and get right up, yeah, maybe. But anything other than that, they don't get a full night's sleep. To me, this to me speaks directly towards that kind of the situational within the conference tournament itself. I love it.
I mean, that's something that a lot of people hang their hat on in football season. The West Coast teams, when they play a 1 o'clock start on the East Coast. So all of that, put it together, that makes my case. I'm taking San Jose State. They win this game 68-63.
So none of these are your best bet this week?
No, the best bet will be later in the week.
Oh, wait. Is anyone wondering why I have this?
I think we discussed it in the last video.
You just paid me off on this.
Did it earn interest yet?
No. I think I'm going to go neutral on this one. I love the fact of the time move. But I got to tell you, I don't like the line. And it just strikes me that if I were getting 4 here, I think I'd jump on board.
Yeah. Can't have everything,
No, I hear you. I like everything, though. Any closing thoughts?
Nope. Just wish everybody luck in the tournaments, and check out the video that we did on how to handicap some tips for the conference tournaments.
You can get all those videos at pregame.tv. You can join Marco and me in the conversation about this. Now, Marco, when are we going to be back for our next set of videos? Because these conference tournaments are unique. They're day after day after day.
We're going to have to try to do something.
You know what I'm thinking? Maybe you come in tomorrow, and we can do some because a lot of games start on Thursday.
Some start there, but we got to have the Wednesday results.
But I'm saying the ACC, for example,
has a few of them already set up. Yeah.
No, the ACC tournament doesn't even start till Thursday.
Okay.
Yeah, well, we'll figure it out. Check on pregame.tv, and we'll be back soon for sure.